Do the Milwaukee Bucks have a chance to beat the Phoenix Suns to win the championship? Let's get into this. Who could have seen this coming into this season? But the Milwaukee Bucks and Phoenix Suns are in the NBA Finals, and the Suns are currently up 2-1 in the series. For the Phoenix Suns, both Chris Paul and Devin Booker just look great. They look like they belong there. And then when you pivot and talk about the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis is playing very well, but that's about it. After both games 1 and 2, the Phoenix Suns won both of those games very handedly. And after those two games, a lot of fans and a lot of people around the NBA thought this series may be over either in a sweep or in a gentleman's sweep in 5 games. But after coming back to Milwaukee, as typically happens, the role players around Giannis have definitely stepped up and were a big reason why the Bucks are actually able to win that game 3, and that gives them a little energy because the Bucks actually won pretty handedly in that matchup. So now the real question is, do the Milwaukee Bucks actually have a chance to win this series and not just make it a gentleman's sweep or maybe take it to 6 games? Before we can answer this question, let's look at both teams and see how they're constructed and what they do well and what they don't do well and how they match up to each other and who's actually on paper the better team. So let's first start off with the Milwaukee Bucks. Of course you have Giannis, and he's definitely proved me wrong in the past where I said in the playoffs he doesn't play as well. But in these playoffs, and especially in these finals, he's completely carrying his team in the Milwaukee Bucks, and he's playing absolutely amazing basketball, and I commend him for that. He's doing a great job. He's getting all the way to the basket, he's getting to the free throw line, he's hitting a lot more free throws than he has in the past. He also has a new move in his arsenal which is pretty effective, which is not necessarily the deep post turnaround fadeaway. He's a little bit closer, but he has that jump shot in his toolkit now, which is a huge benefit to him in my opinion, and a reason why he's playing so well. He's not as one-dimensional as he was in the past. He doesn't only go all the way to the basket and dunk over people or finish around them. Now he has a little bit of that post game, that post turnaround fadeaway a little bit when it's a closer shot, and nobody can block that shot. He's 6'11", and he also his wingspan is crazy as well, so no one's going to block that shot. He's going to get that off pretty openly every time, and he's hitting them very consistently as well, which is a great thing for him. He's also, as Giannis has done in the past, he's finding his teammates they literally have all shooters all around him, which is a huge benefit to a guy like Giannis. So he's passing it out to his 3-point shooters very effectively and getting them open shots. Now if they're hitting it or not, that's up to them, but Giannis is doing his job. Now moving on to Chris Middleton. I made a video recently, you guys should check it out if you haven't seen it, but I made a video how Chris Middleton in these playoffs has completely stepped up and completely shut up a lot of the haters. But in these finals so far, he's just not been playing well whatsoever. Maybe it's jitters, maybe it's whatever, maybe they're playing him very well defensively, but for whatever reason he's just very inconsistent for the most part, and that's really been the story of his career. Chris Middleton has definitely been a guy who's able to put up those numbers and able to hit those shots in the clutch like he's proven throughout these playoffs, but he's just not consistent with it, and that's his biggest issue. That's the biggest thing, taking him from just a low-level all-star to potentially high-level all-star, maybe even superstar, if he's able to be more consistent. And obviously when the Milwaukee Bucks played game 3 at home, all your role players always play better at home, so they're going to have that little extra oomph and little extra boost. So the real thing for the Milwaukee Bucks is Giannis has to continue to play as well as he has been. He's completely carrying them and he's doing a great job, but also he's going to need a little help from Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton is really going to need to step up and play as he was in the past during these playoffs, and especially as he was in that Brooklyn Nets series specifically. He was a huge reason that they were able to upset the Nets and actually take them over the hump to beat them. Also for Jrue Holiday, he had a very good game 3, so hopefully that gives him a lot of confidence, because in both games 1 and 2 he struggled a little bit, so hopefully in game 4 he can gain that confidence and play as well or maybe even better than he did in game 3. But also for Jrue Holiday, he's a huge piece for them, because not only is he really good on the offensive end when he's confident, of course, which he needs to get back, hopefully he does, but also he provides a ton of defense. He's probably one of their best defenders they have on the team, so he's a very valuable player for them, and he's a big reason why the Bucks are so great on the defensive end. So the keys for the Bucks are Giannis. Of course, he has to play extremely well. He has to play incredibly well, like he's been doing throughout these whole finals. Chris Middleton has to step up, be a lot more efficient, and just be a real sidekick to Giannis. Jrue Holiday has to step up a little bit also on the offensive end, but just provide the defense that he has been. He's a great defender in this league. He helps him out a lot. The role players have to, hit some shots when they get wide open looks, get all the way to the basket, get some nice easy dunks, help out Giannis, help out Chris Middleton, Jrue Holiday, help him out a little bit, and that's really the keys for them. And then on the defensive end for the Bucks, they really just got to clue in on Chris Paul ball and really try to stop, I don't know if you could stop it, but at least try to slow down his pick and roll offense, because he gets a lot of wide open mid-range shots off that pick and roll, or if you defend that, he kicks it to DeAndre Ayton for an easy dunk or layup or hook shot. So it's a very difficult thing to guard, but you really have to do your best to try to slow him down at the very least. And for Devin Booker, he's more of a one-on-one guy, so maybe throw some double teams at him, try to take him out of his rhythm, and just try to slow down Devin Booker as well. That's the biggest key for the Bucks on the defensive end. And if they're able to successfully, at the very least, slow down this Phoenix Suns offense, they obviously have a way better chance at winning this series and winning the NBA championship. But if they're not able to do that, it's going to be basically impossible for them to win, no matter how well they're playing on the offensive end. But now let's move on to the Phoenix Suns. So of course in games 1 and 2, they played extremely well, winning each game very handedly, and they were led by Devin Booker and Chris Paul, of course. But of course, in both games 1 and 2, the Phoenix Suns were home, so their role players played a lot better, as they typically do it during home games. Specifically, Mikal Bridges had a great game. But then moving on to game 3, moving on the road, that help wasn't there. That little extra oomph wasn't there for the Phoenix Suns, and they ended up losing. So really the keys for the Phoenix Suns are Chris Paul and Devin Booker have to step up, have to play extremely well, like they have been throughout these entire playoffs, and then also especially in games 1 and 2. Chris Paul specifically has to be very effective in the pick and roll, like he has been throughout these entire playoffs with DeAndre Ayton, either getting the ball to DeAndre Ayton for a wide open dunk or layup or hook shot, or just taking that mid-range shot himself. He's just been super effective with that. And for Devin Booker, he just has to be an absolute bucket, like he's been throughout his whole career, honestly. He has every move in the book. He has a poster on a fadeaway. He came into the league as a great three-point shooter, so he hits those three-point shots very efficiently and effectively. He gets all the way to the basket. He's super athletic. He can dunk over you. He can finish around you when he gets to the basket. He's literally a 3-level scorer and can score in any way possible. So he has to continue to keep that efficiency up and put up those crazy numbers like he's been doing. But also a little bit of a dark horse is DeAndre Ayton. He also has to play well like he has been. He's been playing great on the defensive end, which helps him out tremendously. Also, something that's a little underrated is he's getting a ton of rebounds, especially offensive rebounds, which is giving the Suns a lot more offensive possessions, which helps them out, and overall obviously helps them win more games. And especially in games 1 and 2, that was a huge thing. DeAndre Ayton was getting so many offensive rebounds, which was helping the Suns even when the Bucks were playing great defense and was stopping them. So the keys for the Suns to win the finals and the championship are both Devin Booker and Chris Paul to really play their game. Booker specifically to just be a bucket and score buckets, and for Chris Paul specifically, just be very effective in the pick and roll like he has been, and just be absolutely automatic from that mid-range spot, just drain those mid-range shots, as well as just being able to pass and see open teammates in that pick and roll. That just puts so much pressure on the defense. And for DeAndre Ayton, just play like he has been, just be very effective on the offensive glass especially, but also play great defense like he's been, and also get those defensive rebounds and be a threat in that pick and roll. And that's basically all they need from DeAndre Ayton. Anything more is just gravy. And for the defensive end for the Suns, really try to find a way to stop Giannis or slow him down without fouling him, which is basically impossible. He's such a beast getting all the way to the basket, and also, as I mentioned before in the video, he added some things to his game to make him more effective. But really, besides Giannis, if Giannis is going to go off, at the very least, try to stop a guy like Chris Middleton, who they've done a great job on. Chris Middleton kind of did a little bit to himself by just not playing well and losing confidence, but they've done a great job on him, as well as try to limit Drew Holiday and all the other guys on their team. If Giannis is going off, he's not going to beat you single-handedly if nobody else on his team is playing well. Maybe Giannis could do it for a game, maybe 2 games, but for the series to win the championship, he's going to need help from his teammates. So for the Phoenix Suns, if you could limit everybody else, or maybe even stop everybody else on the team, you have a great shot at winning. But now let's answer the question of the video. Do I think the Milwaukee Bucks actually have a chance to win this playoff series, or do I think it's going to be either a gentleman's sweep or maybe in 6 games? At this point, I think it's pretty hard for the Bucks to win. I think the Suns are such heavy favorites, and they're playing so well, especially at home. And I think Game 3 was kind of a must-win game for the Bucks, of course. And if they lose Game 4, I think the series is over. If they win Game 4, although, and it's 2-2, I think it's brand new life. But for me, I need to see what the Bucks could do in Phoenix, if their role players could play at least decently well, if Giannis can get some help from Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, how they perform when they're away from home. But the first big test for the Bucks is they have to win Game 4. Absolute must win. If they do win that, they obviously have a chance, and then we have to see how they play in Phoenix. If they play well there, then they have a chance to win the whole series. But that's what it comes down to for me. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think the Milwaukee Bucks have a legit shot to win these finals, or do you think this thing's kind of over and the Suns are going to win it? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe and hit that post notification bell. It really helps me out a lot. Until the next time, peace out, guys.